All right, folks, welcome back. So to the next story. You know, the new tax laws were bound to come with confusing interpretations and narratives to pile needless pressure on the everyday Nigerian. But the Nigerian Revenue Service, NRS, is almost shouting itself hoarse by dispelling rumors bandied around by enemies of state. The body insists that the value-added tax, VAT, had always been a banking service and is not a new introduction. The new Tax Act has not introduced any VAT on banking charges, and no charge has been imposed on the customer. Sister broadcasters and journalists have to help push the correct narrative, please. Don't you think?
I think so too, and that was why when we brought the NRS Chief Executive, Zach Adedeji, the other day, we wanted him to say with his own mouth that nobody would tax people's savings and all that, because this was what we were hearing all over the place. And he asked the question, he said, okay, we've been in January, we've gone past January 1. Who can come out to say that his account balance has been taxed, or that money transferred to him has been taxed? You know, people are saying, oh, in order to avoid being your transfer being taxed, there are certain things that you must put there, and all that. You must put it there. That is school fees, this and that. No, so people. The level of rumor mongering in our country is outstanding, and you will see people who call themselves journalists promoting this outright falsehood. Many of them have not seen, they are too lazy, they've not read the tax laws. They've not read it, but they have an opinion that is not grounded in reality. So now what he's saying is that interest earned on savings accounts, fixed deposit and similar deposit accounts is not subject to VAT.
That's it.
And that interest income is not a supply of goods or services and therefore does not attract VAT under the Nigerian Tax Act. I'll say that again. Interest income is not a supply of goods or services and therefore does not attract VAT. Yes, under the Nigerian tax law. He also said that VAT is not charged on the amount of money transferred or withdrawn. He said the Nigerian Tax Act did not introduce VAT on banking charges, nor did it impose any new tax obligation on customers in this regard. They've not introduced new taxes. What they've done is to improve the efficiency of collection of old taxes that are there. They've not, by this, in fact, they've merely consolidated taxes to the point that even the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria said, look, in the past we had about 100 taxes, but today everything is consolidated. You are now talking about maybe 16 taxes for those manufacturers. This is not a situation that any decent person should be against.
Okay.
But rumor mongering, you know, outright falsehood has taken over the airwaves, and that's why people are unnecessarily getting agitated, worried about their savings. This fear that people have is not necessary, because nobody will tax their savings.
Yesterday, gentlemen, I made to withdraw 10,000 naira from the POS, and the lady said, it is 300 naira. I said, for 10,000, 20,000 used to be 200. He said, there's what they call stamp duty. Where is that coming from? He said, they say, I insisted, who are these they? Here I'm for news.
You see, the problem that we have is that there's so much ignorance around. And people tend to rely more on what they read on the social media, which is not necessarily true. Like Jide said, there's nothing new in this. You know, before we came on here, and I was explaining that there's nothing new in this tax laws that
regime.
people, what they've done, two things that they've done. One is to consolidate things that are done, to put it in a different, to be able to give it a legal framework. They consolidated those tax laws. But most importantly, what they've done is to now initiate things that will bring more people into the tax net.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what they've done. So now you're supposed to have a TIN number. You understand what I'm saying? Which is very easy. You go on a platform and then you input your NIN and then you will generate your TIN number. So if they now ask to say, okay, what's your TIN number? You have a TIN number. By having a TIN number, you are recognized.
Okay.
So you are already in the tax net.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's just the only difference. The only difference is
And
that
they've eliminated
yes,
double taxation.
yes,
This
they've done
consolidation has helped
things.
them to,
Yes, they've done things
move.
to be able to bring more people into the tax net. That's all. So all the other things we are hearing are just nonsense. Or when you hear VAT, VAT has always been there.
Yes.
But
We've always been
recently,
paying. We used to pay VAT.
Mayor,
Now,
recently, states receive much more money from the VAT. From
even the VAT, what they've done in the new tax law is to be able, you know, before, the way they were sharing the VAT was not fair.
Okay.
There are people, there are states that contribute much more into the VAT pot,
receive
and then
a
they
lot
receive
less.
less, because others who don't contribute that
Yeah.
much sometimes get more than them or get as much as them.
Yes.
But with the new tax law,
They introduced
as
derivation.
rearrange, yes, and rearrange it in a way that those who contribute more will be compensated for
And you will
doing
be
so.
compensated for consumption, not simply because the headquarters of the company is in
For instance, Lagos.
Lagos. Yes, Lagos, for example, Lagos benefited a lot because the headquarters of some of these companies, these manufacturing companies,
Are here.
are here. The argument was that no, this is not fair. It should be based on consumption. For example, my people in Kano, they like noodles a lot.
Okay.
They call it they like spaghetti. They call it talia. They consume it more than our people here. Now, if a company producing talia or spaghetti were to be based in Lagos, based on the way they were sharing VAT, the bulk of the charges will go to Lagos. And they've now said, no, let's not do that. Let's base it on consumption. Not to simply say because the headquarters of the company is here, that is where VAT will be paid to. So they did a lot to make it a very fair, make our taxation a lot
A fair
fairer,
exchange, yeah.
yes, than before. And that's why even Lagos lost the capacity to earn more money from VAT because
Yeah.
of that, the derivation formula that they introduced. Yes, it took a while, but the House of Reps did a fantastic job. They were able to come together, people like Faleke, people like Ado Dogwa, you know, those the speaker put a team together that did a fantastic job. And today, that controversy that looked like it was going to set the country ablaze was finally put to rest. So now people are saying, oh, they are saying all kinds of things. A lot of the doomsday prophecy that people who are not even based in Nigeria came up with in respect of this new tax law, people can see now that it's a waste of time. So they are saying that this VAT applies only to the service charge or commission imposed by the bank. And it goes on to say, for example, if a bank charges 10 naira for a transfer, VAT of 7.5%, 0.75, applies to that 10 naira charge, not the amount being transferred.
Applies to the transfer.
No, it's the bank. It's the bank that will now pay that.
Yes, it applies to the let me read it again. For example, if a bank charges 10 naira for a transfer,
Okay.
VAT of 7.5% applies to that 10 naira that the bank has charged for the transfer.
Okay.
Not that the transfer, the cumulative of the transfer that you
Does
got.
not come to the
Just listen to me first. Not that the sum total of the money that you have received, VAT will be taken from it. So the charge is on the VAT that the bank took from the money that you received, not the cumulative.
The bank charges
I get you, but we have company. Pat is reaching us from Port Harcourt, River State. Pat, are you there? Good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Let's go.
I am about Oyo State, that Makinde fund.
Yes.
I don't know why they are saving money that one supposed to use in, helping the masses. Just when Obitu was in Anambra State, saving money, and people are dying, people are in need of money. What's the sense of that?
Oh.
Then number two, this tax reform, some of them, they know the usefulness, the importance that is working, but just because they don't like this administration, they want to frustrate the administration. Just one man that one of your sister stations brought, was it on Friday, Okimbaluye. So they were interviewing the man. He will dribble Okimbaluye. When we ask him certain question, he won't be able to answer it. He will just be talking about all things, assuming one is a thief before, but now one is not more a thief. But you are still talking about the old things, and it's not supposed to be so.
All right, Pat, thank you. We got you first time.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you very much.
What Pat is saying is that people normally, when they don't like something or they have interest somewhere, they try to now demonize reforms that are being made and all that. In fact, there was a rumor, people were saying that the tax has been suspended and all that, and the reform has been suspended. And somebody told me that, and I said, no, something has been suspended. It's in effect. From January 1, it's in effect. There is nothing. It's nothing. It's the same thing that you've been doing. It's just that they put a legal framework to it.
They go the extra mile by saying, oh, this is they are trying to make situation even more terrible for the everyday Nigerian.
No, it's even better because you see, there are, especially when it comes to manufacturers and all that, there are a lot of taxes that are being duplicated here and there. So what they've just done is just to streamline everything.
This is why
so that we'll know.
I insist that our colleagues in other media spaces should help the narrative, understand the dynamics.
Some of them are not interested
because
in that.
they
want to mislead
the standard has been lowered. There are a lot of people in the newsroom now that they are not knowledgeable themselves, and then there are a lot of people
can't even interpret some of these things.
Yes, they can't interpret some of these things. For example, when we were in the Guardian, when we were in the Guardian, for example, somebody that is on the business desk, you see somebody who read business administration, who probably has a master's in business administration or finance, handling the business desk. You understand what I'm saying? So when he's reading those things, he understands it.
The dynamics.
The people who are going to now look at the stories after that, they understand it, they can relate to it. But we don't have that anymore. The social media era has changed in a way that even people, when they want to have information, they go to Google to go and check and do this.
And it is not everything that you see on Google or ChatGPT. That is correct.
That is correct.
Okay, for example, for some of them who cannot write a story unless they go and get the machine to help them write. The the young soldier, young naval officer who confronted Nyesom Wike.
Yeah, the other day.
A lot of people who used Google and other platforms to get information about him, about his origin, they were misled. Yeah. In fact, one professor of journalism in the US mentioned a local government that he claimed that boy came from. And that's what everybody was writing. And that boy does not come from that place.
Yeah. That's the mistake.
So it's not everything that the internet can provide answers to. That is what people don't realize.
Because they also use
it is information it extracts information here and there from. So if falsehood is fed
so it's the internet,
it is part of that falsehood that it will help you to write your report with.
Remember in the story we carried about BK, first story, Ruben Abati said, a rule in this business is if you are in doubt,
You leave out, yes.
leave out,
It's
drop.
a basic rule of
So
journalism.
if
yes.
these days, if people are in doubt, they will still remain on
They want to
falsehood.
go there.
And when we expose them,
Oh, yes.
They will
and look,
double
you have
down.
lied, they will not even, they don't have the honor to own
say,
up to their
yeah,
mistake. Look
yeah.
at those of them who claim that judges were singing Asiwaju's anthem. I've challenged the arrowhead of that, the amplification of that story. I said, produce a single video of a judge whose lips were parting, who was singing. He will never be able to find that evidence because it didn't
It is
happen.
the police band that played it. It's the police band.
Yes.
Nobody
The
asked the police band to do
military,
it. Yes.
Okay, ours is to do what is needful. And so we have given vent to that story as best we can. Let's take on the next story.